Hi everyone, Emma here. Take a look at my desk. So this is what my desk looks like, and then when I move the camera, you don't actually see all that mess. There is some organization to it, but so let's take a look. Guess what we're gonna make right now. So this was one of the items that was requested as part of when I was going through my studio tour. I was showing some unfinished projects. And so I thought I'd go ahead and create a video to show you how to make them. They're super easy. Once you make a few, I think you can do your own designs, and I'm pretty confident in that. Now, let me tell you, yesterday I did a video making this one here, and there was a bit of a snafu with this one. As you can see, there's two sets of super duos that stick up. That was not intentional, but everything was so bunched together that I ended up going and adding some seed beads in between to create this other area, and it actually turned out pretty nice. So I will do a tutorial on that. It's not very different than what we're going to do, but I just thought I'd show you that one. And the reason that video is not available is every once in a while my tablet gets overloaded with files, and for some reason the audio was out of sync with the video, so it was a mess, and it's just not, you can't watch it, it's so weird. So because you know there's spots where it's like, and we were going shopping, that kind of thing. It's like, what the heck? So anyway, I will show you one of those at another time, but I also wanted to mention these two here are two variations, and these are done with EOS beads, and they look like super duos, but they're poofier on the edge, and I don't know if you can kind of see the difference. Let me enlarge this so you can see. This is a little, let me get that in focus. So they're a little more like a circle rather than an oval. Where's that? Super duper fall. so, so these are, you can see how tiny they are too. So that is the difference. They're quite a bit different, actually. The only commonality they have is two holes, really. But that's what it looks like, and I think it's just perfect for something like this. The other thing, the reason I'm not doing a video for this one is I don't have these long beads. These are like fire polished, and they're longer than the normal, and I got these from Jill Wiseman's garage sale 2 years ago with a grab bag. So unless I can find some of these, or I might play with it and see if I could figure out a way to put different beads in there to create this, because it is a nice design. So there's that, and I find these look like wheat shafts. They're so pretty. So there's those two, and this was the initial one that I did last year. Oh, and let me tell you too, if you want to go take a look, I have videos for these from last year. Now, I'm just going to point out that they have a lot of ads in it, and that happens because when you get approved for ads on YouTube, they automatically add every ad possible in all of your videos. Well, I have over almost 700 videos now, so it's hard for me to go through and take off the ads because you actually have to delete all the different ads from each video. So I am going to work on that, but in the meantime, feel free to go take a look at that. And so there's those two there, and then this one, of course. So this is the one we're going to make right here, and I'll bring it up so you can see. So this is really pretty. This is super simple. So you can use any colors you want. This is the colors I decided to use. So let's take a look at our supplies. Let's put that back in focus. Bring this down. And let's slide this over a bit. There we go. So you're going to need to start out, you're going to need 7 4mm bicones. I'm using Swarovski bicones here. And then you need a 3mm bicone. So you need 7 of these 3mm. Then you need some 15-0 seed beads. You need some 11-0 seed beads and some 8-0 seed beads. And then your super duos. So the color is totally up to you. This is seafoam. These are metallic blues, and this is, I think the label got rubbed off. Silver something. So this is just a straight up silver. And you're going to need some thread. I'm using the dragon thread. I just have to say that with this dragon thread, it's nice and thin, which is great because you can make multiple passes and not worry, especially when you use 15-0 seed beads. And in something like this, you usually go through a lot. But you know what? Because I did this design a couple of times, I figured out a way that we wouldn't have to pass through the beads multiple times. But I will say, if you hold it like that, you can see it kind of falls heavy. So it doesn't have a lot of structure. So depending on what you're using it for, if you're using it to hang on the tree, it should be fine. But, you know, even in a bracelet, it should be fine, or a pendant. I do feel like it needs a little more structure. So you could either go through with this line again, or you could use a heavier line. So maybe a 6-pound fire line, I think, would be enough structure for this. You might have some issues with the 50-0s, but for this one here, I didn't actually go through the 50-0s a second time. I just left the thread going through over and have the beads cover it. So there you go. So let's get started. It's super easy, super fun. You're going to be making a ton of these. They're so amazing. So I already took out a wingspan of Fireline, and I'm using a size 10 beading needle. I was using a 12, but I kind of prefer using the 10. Just I find I have more, I can manage the needle in my fingers a little better. But definitely a size 12 will work, and it's hopefully the size 10 will as well. We'll see in a couple of minutes. And I thought I had threaded this, but there we go. So let's grab all our thread. Let's put this on the side here, and I might have to move these guys down a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Actually, we might as well take these down because we're going to use those right away, and some of these. Okay, so the first step, super simple. You're going to thread on your Swarovskis, and you're going to intersperse them with your 8-0 seed beads. So we can start with one actually. One of those, and you just alternate till you have them all on there. And there should be 7 of them. So there's 3. Just going to hang on to those. There. And then depending on what you started with, so here's what it looks like. So you need one of each coordinated. So bring that down to the bottom and tie a knot. Set my needle down. Where are we here? Okay, so tie a knot to create your loop. And you know what? I'm going to move my camera a bit. Okay, and then tie another knot. second knot, nice and tight. I'm going to do a third knot just to be careful, because this is the base of your unit, so you want to make sure it's not going to come apart. Like that. There. Sure everything's tight. And you're going to clip that end. Now I leave a little tiny tail that I can hide in the beads. So we'll get rid of that. And we're going to go through everything. I'm going to start by just going through a few, and we're going to get rid of that tail from our knot. So there's our tail from the knot. And let me get this in focus. There we go. So when you pull, it'll slide in there. So now it's gone. Now I'm just going to go through one more time. Without pulling. Just so there's another layer of thread in there. And you're going to end by coming out of an 8/0. So let's go through this 8/0. Like that. Now we're going to pick up an 8/0, a super duo, and an 11/0. Another super duo, and another 8/0. So this is what you should have on your needle. So the 6/0s, the super duo, the 11/0, then the super duo, then the 11/0. And you're going to repeat this. This is going to be the starting point of your peaks. So just bring it down. That. So you're coming out of this one, you're going to go into this one. This 8/0. Like that. And I'm going to bring this up. I feel like it needs to be a little closer. There. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Let's move these guys over here. We can grab them. So we've got an 8/0, a super duo, an 11/0, a super duo, and an 8/0, just like that. So we're coming out of this side here. We're going to skip the crystal, and we're going to go into the next 8/0, like that. And that's get it started. So 8/0, super duo, 11/0, super duo, 8/0. Out of here, go into here. And we just keep doing this all the way around. Like that. Keep going. So tomorrow is my biopsy. And yesterday when I did that video, I actually was explaining what was going on yesterday because it was a stressful day. And of course the camera didn't work. So the big issue is I had some problems with the other breast and was waiting for an order. I went back to see my doctor about that, and that's when she gave me all the reports from the first breast issue. So she said she would do a requisition for a diagnostic mammogram on the other side. And I didn't do that right. One of these, one of these. And so I hadn't heard anything, so I decided to call the doctor's office, and there was issues. The person was new to the job and wasn't sure what to do. That it did get faxed out, but she didn't see anything back. So she gave me the number to call, which ended up being the wrong number, but the person that I talked to knew the number. I guess they're in contact all the time. So she said, "Yeah, here's the number. Give her a call." I called her and she said, "Oh, Emma, I have your file on my desk. I was just about to call you." She said, "When I saw your requisition come in, I waited to talk to the radiologist because I knew you were coming in tomorrow, and I wanted to see if they could do it all together." So the radiologist said, "Yeah, they'll do it all together." So that was awesome. This is what we have so far. Okay, so now we want to start adding to this area here. So we are going to try and get up there. So we're going to start by going up, and I'll point out what I did here. So I was in this crystal and I went up to the ones we just added, this 8-0, the super duo, and I'm going to go through the next let me think about this here. Yeah. So you're going to go through this 11-0 and through the super duo. Okay. No, you know what? We need to turn, and I'll show you why. So let's go back out here. So let me point out where we went to start with. So we were in this crystal. We had just added all these top pieces. We went through the first 8-0 and through the bottom hole of the first super duo. We're going to step up. So that's key on doing these snowflakes. There's one section where you're actually going to have to reverse your direction. So you will have to step up, but you'll never see that. So by stepping up, you're going into the top hole. So let's go through that top hole like that. And now we're going to add a 3mm crystal. So these 3mm crystals fit between the first set of super duos. So you're going to go through that hole like that. And now we're going to add the rest. So we want to add just this section here. So we're going to add a super duo, 11-0 super duo. Then we're going to go and add a crystal, and we're going to do that all the way around. So that should be pretty easy to follow. So we have super duo, 11-0 super duo. We're coming out of this hole. We're going to go into this hole. And like that. Okay, so now we add our crystal. Coming out of that hole, we're going to go into this hole. Like that. So super duo, 11-0 super duo. Coming out of this hole, we're going to go into this hole. That. And pick up a 3mm crystal. Coming out of this hole, going into the next top hole of the super duo. Starting to come together. So this is how fast this is. I love this. You could easily do 10 of them if you had the supplies, I guess. So go through here. that. Add a crystal. Move these guys a bit. There, like that. Super Duo, 11O, Super Duo, and through here. Crystal. Like that. So that was, I was really stressed out about going for the biopsy and then having to come back and do the other breast and stuff like that. So I was really relieved that they were able to do everything together, because actually I was even thinking that because it's the radiologist that determines whether a biopsy is needed, there's really nothing for her to study and look at because she's there doing it, the mammogram and the ultrasound. So she can decide then if she wants to do a biopsy of the other breast. So that's like a huge, huge relief of not having to go back for that stuff. And then it's just a matter of referral. So, I forgot to put the, I added the crystal, but I didn't put the, oh no, I guess I did. I wasn't paying attention. So I need a set of super duos here. I thought I'd forgotten, but that's the one we started with, and the thread was in the wrong position, so that's why it was missed, in case you're wondering. So then we go through. So I'm going to go through the other beads just because I can. So we're going to put those super duos in this spot here. I'm going through the crystal, through the bottom super duo, and then the top super duo, through the 11O. My needle wouldn't go through the other. Otherwise, I would go through that, but I'll show you where we need to be with that one. So we're going to go through the bottom hole of the second set of super duos, just this one here. Now we're ready. We're going to start building up each of these, and basically we just need 2 more super duos here and then the final one at the peak, and we can do that all in one and then move on to the next. So to conceal the thread and to make it look pretty, we're going to add a picot. So we're going to take 3 15-ohs. There's your 3 15-ohs. You're coming out of that bottom hole, you're going to go into the top hole like that. Ta-da! Now we're going to pick up 2. We're not going to put a seed bead in between because we want this to be a little smaller and fit snugly and leave room for the 3rd bead to pop in there. So like that. So now we're going to add 3 15-ohs like that. And we're coming out of that hole, we're going to go into that hole. And you can pass through whatever you can get through. So I can pass through that super duo, the 11O, and the next super duo. Like that. Now, you can pass through the 15s again, but there's so little thread showing that I don't bother. So you can't see the thread. So now what I did was I went through this super duo and this super duo. I did not go through this one here, because now what we're going to do is we're going to turn, we're going to add a picot, turn, and add our last bead there, our super duo. 2, 3, so we need 3 of those. Go through the top hole like that and pick up a super duo. And pop it in there. Now we're going to pick up 3 15-ohs to create the final picot on this set. And you're going to go through the super duos because now we're going to weave back down to the next set. So coming out of there, we're going to go in here. Like that. And then down this bottom hole. And we're going to cross into the crystal and go to the next one. So we're going to come in this one here. We're going to come down through the bottom hole of this middle one. We're going to go through the 11-0, through the next super duo. Make sure you don't snag your picot. I did that, I noticed on the other one. There. Go through the top hole of this super duo and through the crystal. And then we're going to cross over. We want to be on this side here so that we can add our picot. So I went through the crystal, through this top hole, bottom hole of this super duo. I'm going to go through this 11-0, through this bottom hole of this super duo, and we're going to add our picot. So hopefully this makes sense. I'm going to repeat this a few times in case it's not clear. Okay, 3 15-0s. We are coming out of the bottom of this super duo. We're going to go into the top hole like that. We're going to pick up 2 super duos. We're coming out of that hole. We're going to go into the one next to it like that. We're going to pick up 3 15-0s. That. Coming out of the top hole, go through the bottom hole, through the 11-0, and as many beads as you can get, or actually just the super duo, sorry. I'm jumping ahead here because we still have to add the picot to this one. And I apologize about my finger. My hands are getting dry from all the beading and swimming and all the hand washing. I'm gonna try and moisturize them, get them cleaned up a bit. So coming out of the bottom hole, you're going to go into the top hole, then you're going to come across these guys. And sometimes you can get through all of them if you jiggle them a bit, so like that. And let's see if we can get nice and tight. So add 3 15-0s for your picot through the top hole like that. And then, oh, this is just showing you, this is the one that's missing part of the bead. Doesn't happen too often, although I have gotten some supplies where there was lots of misshapen beads, but it doesn't happen too often. So then we add our final, and of course we're missing the picot here, so we add that. So sometimes what you're missing is what tells you where to go, kind of thing. So we're going to add 3 15-0s. Coming out of this top hole, we're going to go into the bottom hole of that same super duo. Now I've got it so tight. And you're going to pass through the bottom holes of both of those beads. So I'm just going to move my picot on that side out of the way. That. That. Okay. So now we need to go through the top hole here, because now we need to go and cross over like this. So we're coming out of this bead, we're gonna go into this one, we're gonna leave a thread behind on this super duo. We're going to go through the 11-0, through the super duo, through the next 11-0, and through the crystal into the next set. So this is the part that might be a bit confusing. So just remember, try to hide your thread. And there is a bit of zigzagging with this design. Okay, so now we're gonna make a thread here, but you could go through the 15 O's to hide the thread. There's lots of room for it. So, but it's honestly, with this thread is so thin that it really doesn't need it. Sometimes your 15 O's get in the way, so you can kind of just move them a bit with your nail. Kind of jiggle your way in with your needle. And through like that. So you see, you can't even see that now. Well, there, you can just see it, but you know what? I can't see it here. I can see it because it's magnified on the screen. Now we're coming out of this one. We're going to go into the top of that super duo, go through the crystal, and go through the bottom of this one. I'll do it in a couple of steps so you can see the path. Because honestly, I feel that this is the most complicated part of this design, is knowing which way to go through things. So now we're going through the bottom holes of these super duos. You're going to pass through the 11-0 and through the bottom hole of that one. And we are ready to do the next one. Let's keep going. 3 15 O's through the top hole. That. Pick up 2 super duos. Go through the top hole of the other super duo, like that. Pick up 3 15 O's. And go through the bottom hole, pass through your 11-0, pass through the next super duo. And that went through my 15-0 on the other side. So I'll actually go through the 15-0 just so you can see that it can be done. It's not a big deal with this thread. So let's go through that one, like that, and through the super duo hole. I'm going to go through the holes of the 2 we just added, like that. There. So you could do it that way if you want. Now we're going to create a picot on this side to add our next super duo. So there we go. Bottom hole, top hole. Ta-da! Gonna pick up a super duo, go through the other super duo like that, and now we need to create a picot there. So 1 2 3, top hole, bottom hole, go through both super duos, come out the other end. So here is something I did on the other one. I actually missed the hole, so you can see, and I guess I didn't notice it because it was kind of snagged in between the super duos. So it wasn't until I got to the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? So make sure you get the hole. They're a bit sneaky at times. I thought it went through a little too easy. There we go. So I went through, added the picot, went through the bottom hole of this middle one, crossed over to this one. Now I'm going to go inside this one, like that. And then it pulls it tight as well. Then I'm going to bring my thread down. So I'm kind of stepping down. So from the top hole to the bottom hole, through the 11-0, through the next super duo. And we're going to go through this super duo, through the crystal, through the next beads, and it tends to have a nice straight line, so you're going through this super duo next to the crystal, through the crystal, through the next super duo, through this super duo, through the 11-0. And just watch you don't tangle your 15 O's. And we want to go through the bottom hole of that super duo as well. And we're ready to start all over again. So we have 3 of them. We have 4 more to do. So since I've instructed you so far, I will do some jibber jabber. So if it's not clear what I'm doing and you need to figure out the steps, just rewind it, bring it back, go through. So I'll try and do this quickly and we'll get to the finishing. There's really no finishing to this. I haven't added any clasp or any bracelet or any hook for, decorating. This is just meant to show you how to do these, and then it's up to you to figure out how you want to use them. If you want to put them on the Christmas tree, you could put a ribbon on it. So so yeah, it's getting busy out and about. So tomorrow's the big day. I kind of wanted to do a video the day before. I thought I'd be a lot more stressed out, so I'm actually part of what's making me relaxed is doing these videos and the beading. So that's really helpful, and I wanted to thank everybody so much for all the wonderful support I got after posting that video. I was pretty, my head was hurting. I was so stressed out. So we just need one here. Like that. Yeah, that was really stressful. So hopefully this next part will go by quick. My wife had a telephone medical appointment today with our family doctor. She's so funny, my wife. She's worked in IT her whole life. So usually her hands are busy doing stuff either on the computer or she's on the floor hooking things up and whatnot. So she uses speakerphone all the time. I've never seen anybody use speakerphone so much. So of course, because it was our family doctor, and I had told Jen to, if she got a chance, to let the doctor know that radiology was going to do everything together. And because basically they didn't get any requisition back from the specialty mammogram department in the hospital. So if somebody was keen to that and realized they didn't get anything back, would, go through that whole process looking for stuff when I already had the information. So I asked her to tell the doctor, and so she did. So the doctor was like, "Oh, that's great, thank you, and I hope everything goes well with Emma tomorrow." And she said, "And just let her know that I will call her as soon as I have any information." So that was really nice, because that was another area that I was really, 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 can I say it again? Really upset is, so I'm going for multiple biopsies and I'm not going to know till the new year because everybody's on holiday. And so she assured me that was not the case. So, and tomorrow when I see them, I'm going to ask. I'm going to say, since it's a holiday, is there going to be any problem? And I suspect, because of the uniqueness of this, that I might get a phone call from the radiologist herself. I have a feeling, and I might ask her if she ever does that. Again, my wife will be so surprised. So in the story, in the video that never appeared, Somehow the audio was gone. She did say, and my wife, when I got off the phone, so it was a bit more complicated than what I just described. What happened was when I called the family doctor's office, the um, lady that she's usually a receptionist, but she said she was taking over the booking department. So the family practice is pretty big, so they need one person that's all they do is all the bookings for special tests and requests and everything. So anyway, that lady, I guess, is retiring, and this one was taking over her position. And in the meantime, that lady was off on Christmas leave. So she said, I'm doing her job, and she said, I haven't been trained, so I really don't know what else to tell you, but we don't have anything. It does show that it was faxed. So I was getting ready to ask her for the number of the mammogram booking in the hospital. And she said, maybe you could call them. So I was like, oh, that would be great. So that's what I did. I call, and it's the department phone line. I could tell as soon as I heard the message on the phone line. It's the phone line for your yearly booking of a mammogram, not the diagnostic. So, and the funny part was it didn't send me through to the message. Usually you have to leave a message and somebody calls you back and then books. So it rang through to somebody's desk, and she picked up the phone, and I told her. She goes, "That's a different department," and and she gave me the person's name, and she said, "I'll give you the phone number. You can call that person." So I called that person. They have a message, so and it says to leave a detailed message with your health card number and everything. So it was, a nice, probably 5-minute call message that I left. But then she called me right back and said, yeah, I was just about to call you, and we're going to do everything on the same day so you don't have to come back. So I was so relieved. And like my fear was that I mentioned in that video that I did that I had a serious episode of mastitis in the hospital. I was hospitalized for a week. It was about 20 years ago, and like back then, nobody told me what was wrong. Nobody mentioned anything about cancer. I don't remember any specific follow up like mammograms or anything like that. So when this came up, I started thinking back, and I was like, first of all, I have always been concerned about that breast, thinking I could feel the lump, and I was worried about it. And anytime I mentioned it, it was like, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing. And if you look on YouTube, there's just type in my cancer story or how I found out I had cancer, breast cancer, and they're all saying the same thing. People downplayed what it was. So it scared me that there's something going on. So at least I know this person is really conscientious, and she's going to check everything. And again, like I said earlier, she has the authority to do a biopsy of both breasts if she sees anything suspicious. So that is total relief, because it would suck to have to go back in for that. So this is the last step. Look, we're done. So last step, 15 O's. And try and get in here. Go through. Nice and snug. So now I'm gonna come back out of this 15 O. That was just my needle getting excited. So now I'm gonna go through I'm going to bring my thread down to here. And just because I haven't decided what I'm doing yet and I don't want it. Actually, I think I might just bring it to the end here. Right here. Like that. So there is, how easy is that? Ta-da! That is awesome. So enjoy, and I will let you know how things went. And I have lots more videos to do because I'm sure now the waiting starts and I'll need something to distract me. I do have a big seed bead order to unbox, and I just got something from Stella at um, Dee Dee's Beads. I got my December bead box, deluxe bead box, I think. I have to think about that. And then there's stuff that I bought for Kath. So I'm going to ask Kath if I can unbox her stuff on camera and send it to her. So there you go. Enjoy. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.